Hey, everybody, if you like combat sports, Kyokushin, MMA, kickboxing, boxing, NHL hockey, make sure to like, share, subscribe to the Drew Experience Show. It's available on YouTube and all audio platforms, but we always put it out on YouTube first. So make sure to hit the like, share, subscribe because the community is only growing. I also want to thank a few supporters such as first One Kyokushin, KRT Tips and Tricks, Marshall Way Blog with the show Real Talk that Scott Heaney and Shian Terry Burkett of Ronin Dojo do, and Moments Management, where Nima Safapur and his team put quality into action when they're managing their staple of fighters or any new up-and-coming fighters to come out. And also my other supporters, Kyokushin Boucherville and Karate Joanne Fournier, who have been instrumental in helping me get the show become more relevant. So thank you to them and so forth. And with that, this is the Drew Experience, the show that's 80% combat sports and 20% everything else. I'm your host, the handsome rambling Jew, aka the Hebrew Hammer, Drew. And today with me, this is a guest that I found out about this year actually. And funny enough, he does Kyokushin like myself and my coach Mo. What's even more funny is that how small the world is, because maybe we bumped into each other at the same gym at times. He's an amazing individual. He not only has an entrepreneurial project going on, helping the less fortunate, he also studies social work, and he's also teaching karate too at the famed Lamarre Dojo with Sensei Julie Lamarre. And I am joined by the one and only senpai, but soon to be sensei, Julian. Welcome to the show, Julian.
Hi, man. How's it going?
I'm awesome, man. Thanks for doing this. It's such an honor to have you on.
No, man. Thank you for this opportunity, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Hey, you know what? At the end of the day, I mean, I see what you're doing. When you put good out there, good comes back to you. And we got to, especially with today's news, you know, the news is always so negative or depressing. We got to share the positives. Like it sounds cliche, but it's getting annoying when you hear about COVID cases, whether it's the vaccine. Yes. I mean, the show's not about that, but when I saw your stuff about with the project you're doing, it was like, you know what? It's like, this needs way more attention than,
thanks, man.
Yeah. So, So before we get into that, how did you get into martial arts, Julian?
Oh, wow. So in 2005, actually, because my older brother did Kyokushin Karate at Lamarre Dojo as well, and my father as well. Mm-hmm. And in 2005, my dad's like, okay, we're going to follow into your older brother's footsteps and let's do karate. So I remember my first class was Shian Sylvie was teaching it, and with, I think at the time was Senpai Katsuya, one of her daughters. And my first class ever, I walked in and I started crying. I yelled. I hated it. I couldn't stand it anymore. I couldn't do it anymore. And I remember talking to Shian Renal, and I'm like, yeah, je ne veux plus jamais faire du karaté. C'est pas pour moi. And I said, no. Then 6 months later, I came back, fell in love with it, got my shodan in 2010, knee dan in 2016, started competing a bit 2016 till about the first wave of COVID, then that stopped. And then here we are today.
That's amazing. That is really, really amazing. And so you started in 2005. What was it? So then you came back 6 months later. What was it like? Because this is like the beginning of the golden era for our generation. So this is like when you saw like Julie come up, you saw a young Mohammed Chick and then his brother Ashmi come in. What was that era like? Tell me the memories you had of what you saw when the staple of killers when the Murderers Row was being developed by the Lamarres.
I'm gonna be honest. Back then, so around 2005, 2008. Not that I didn't take Kyokushin Karate seriously, but I was still a kid, so like I wasn't like wow, Mohammed, wow, because I didn't really understand stuff. So, but they were my teachers. So Julie Lamarre and Mohammed Sheikh, I was like, wow, man, these guys are so cool and everything. But once I started like competing in the competition teams in 2014, 2015, that's when I was like, wow, we had killers in the building. And we still have killers in the building now, but like seeing Julie when everything was insane, seeing Mohammed, seeing Victor Pavin, Tarek, the past Brissonneau twins, everyone, it was like, what? Who are
the Brissonneau?
Yeah.
Who were they exactly? I've never heard them.
So that was Natalie Paz, Edgardo Paz, and Jonathan Paz.
Okay. I know. Yeah, I know Natalie. Shout out to Natalie. Amazing human being for what she does with special needs kids. We need more humans like her as you as well. So yeah, that's true. Like there was 3 of them, and like they were all. You guys were like 300 before 300 came out.
Yeah, literally. And I just remember seeing, because like I was still a kid back then. So like they used to take the corner spot and they used to like, when we were sparring, they used to go around like, pop, 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 hit. And I was like, damn, one day I want to be like that. And I was like, shit. I was like, wow, it was crazy to see, man. It really was.
That's amazing. And like, and then, you know, the UFC was breaking out too. So imagine like everything going on. You have that. And when I say UFC, it's because George St. Pierre, Kyokushin
Yeah,
background. Think of it like he's putting like Kyokushin was just, it had like an explosion, like in the stock market for a period.
literally.
And so that's what you remember. And so you get your Shodan and in 2010.
Yeah.
And so when that happens, what was it like to become a Shodan at such a young age? Because it rarely happens.
Yeah, it was cool. It really was cool for me because I remember I got it during my grade 6 year. So like I was always a small kid and I was always picked on in school. So like whenever I used to walk around in school, I'm like, they're like, oh, you want to fight? I'm like, I'm a black belt. Like you can't touch me, and you'd all laugh at me. And I'm like, well, actually, if you want to come to my karate class, you can come. But it was really cool because I mean, not that I troubled with confidence and self-esteem and stuff like that, but like it helped. I think it helped me. Like in the dojo, I was someone, and out of the dojo, it shaped me up to become a better man, and become who I am today, thanks to karate in a way.
I agree with that because I really think that like when you're in a great dojo, and this is the key because a lot of people get into Kyokushin, but there's a lot of great dojos. But I have to be honest, and yeah, you could agree with me. There's a few, as for a nice way of saying it, mediocre dojos, or they're
Mm-hmm.
not so good for, and you know, but the ones you were at, you know, the one you were at, iron sharpens iron. And
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
like it's like everyone's just trying to be better, not only inside but outside too. Like you look at like what they've done. I mean, think of the dojo, like where it is in Montreal. Let's be honest, the East End is not the easiest place to grow up in. It's not
Mm-hmm.
like NDG, Cote St. Luc. And think of how many lives, like, you know, your teacher, like Shian Reynald, Sylvie, or Valder was more in the background, or I think he also taught too, right?
Yeah, Shen Veldar is teaching. Yeah,
Okay.
still taught back then. He's still teaching now. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So think of those three, how many lives they've turned around, like for whether it's new immigrants or those like who could have been on the fringes of like, you know, getting into a bad lifestyle. Isn't it
Yeah.
amazing like how much lives like have been changed through Kyokushin karate?
Absolutely, it's crazy. And even now, like I teach karate, and like I feel in a way it's not just teaching karate. They're teaching a way of life. They're teaching how to become a better human person on a daily basis, and it's crazy. It's crazy how like Kyokushin can transform and could just transcend someone's life. It really is crazy.
I totally agree. It's really, I really think that it helps you discover your human potential, and then you can
Mhm.
put that into other areas. You know, like when I was talking with Shian Pierre Cataford, shout out to Shian Pierre, another one of the legends in Quebec Kyokushin,
Yep.
and he said, and like I'm gonna butcher the quote, but he said, he's like, you have to in Kyokushin, you have to push your limits. He's like, I think like the Japanese, because the Japanese, when they're not only pushing their potential in the dojo, but they do it outside with their relationships, their
Yep.
career, their hobbies, their lifestyle. They're pushing the envelope every time, and that is what we need to be doing here in Quebec and Canada for Kyokushin.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
And do you think Kyokushin helped you choose social work as a vocation, or what
Oh,
exactly led to that?
absolutely. So I started becoming a senpai at around 2012,
Okay.
2013 with Shian Sylvie. And ever since then, I had a passion for teaching kids, for helping out kids, for helping out the youth. So ever since then, I fell in love, and I did my Dawson Deck certificate in social services, which is kind of like social work. So when I was applying for McGill for my university, I'm like, okay, I had two options. I went either kinesiology and becoming a gym teacher, or social work. And I got the acceptance for social work first. So I said, okay, I guess for social work.
That's amazing, especially
Yeah.
now. Like, we really need more, like, I mean, we need more like male social workers. So imagine,
Mhm.
like, you have, like, let's say you're working with a young man, a young boy who comes from a single parent home, like a single mom, which can happen, which, you know, it can happen more. It's rare that it's a single
Yeah,
dad, but, you know, you got to be, I guess, want to make sure I get the wording carefully there.
for
But,
sure.
like, imagine, like, you know, they see you and they look to you as kind of like not a role model, but someone they can speak to. Do you think, is that, how rewarding is that? Like when the kids are able to trust you?
It's insane. It really is insane. I mean, every kid is different. And I think that when you're trying to gain trust inside a child and like It's insane. Like my favorite, like I'm still young, but like in my little social career so far, my favorite moment was when a 15-year-old boy called me dad. And I was like, wow. Like I didn't think, like it's just some of these kids, they mean the world to me, and it's the same way around that they mean the world to you. And it's really crazy how much of an impact you can have on a child's life.
Amazing. That's amazing. And so basically, you get into social work, and then you're doing that with karate. Then recently you came up with this idea for your entrepreneurial project for reselling shoes, but not only reselling them, but like cleaning them up, really making them like brand like new. How did that start?
Okay, so I always liked sneakers. So like I remember when I was a kid, I couldn't always afford the $200 Jordans or $300 Jordans. So I'm like, okay. So one day I was at Dawson College, and I had Jordans on my feet. Like, and the guy goes, "Oh, how much did you pay for them?" Like, "Oh, I paid retail." So retail at the time was $215. He's like, "Oh, I'll pay $300 for them." Like, "Why would you want my shoes for $300? He goes, "Oh, because I can make more." I was like, "Okay." So the next day I went up, I said, "Hey, I'll give you the shoes." So we traded. So then I started learning a bit about the sneaker industry and like how like it was always the supply and the demand. So if there was a low supply and there was a high demand for the shoes, the price would go higher, the price would increase. So then I started buying shoes, selling them in here and there. And then that's when I started buying and selling sneakers.
Amazing. That's, and like, so it starts. So like when you started learning about it, what were you using? Because back then, I mean, now today, like there's like so many ideas. Like you have the Instagram, you have Facebook, you have Google, and
It was all Facebook group chats, to be honest. It was all Facebook, either Facebook group chats. I used Kijiji at the time. That helped a lot. I used to meet up in the metro stations, STM, with my friends. And because if you look about it, 4 or 5 years ago, the sneaker industry is not what it is today. So like now there's a huge evolution, but back then it's Kijiji, Facebook group chats. What else? We used to use Kik, a message Snapchat. It was all on social media, but very low key. Not as it was today, like where it's huge and like you go downtown, Foot Locker here, Foot Locker there. It was crazy.
That makes sense. That's awesome, though. That is awesome. And what was the first pair that you like? That was the Jordans were the first pair. When did it start becoming like something like, okay, I sold one pair. Now let's try to like grow that and scale it out.
Probably in summer 2018 when I started working and like actually like making a bit of money. I'm like, okay, I could do this. And like, not that in my head, I was like, okay, I'm going to drop out of school and I'm just going to sell shoes for the rest of my life. Like that wasn't at the time, that was that was like something I wanted to become a reality, but I used my common sense. I said, I'm not going to drop out of school and just sell shoes. But no, I think for me, it was a side hustle. And like, hey man, whenever I wanted to go out, I used the money that I invested and that I profited from the shoes. And I said, hey, let's just rerun it. Now it's just a cycle.
Amazing. So you're using that like, so just to make sure, like I understand correctly, when you say reinvest, the money that you made from the sales, you just put it back into this project to make it like grow and grow. Okay.
Yeah. And in my head, let's say like, for example, in my head, why would I just have, let's say $2,000 in a bank account sitting where I could have $2,000 invested in shoes where the value could increase? So it's a win-win in a way.
It really is. And this is something I love to do now with North American Kyokushin practitioners doing what's called Money Matters. And you just answered my question there, because I think the thing is we see a lot of practitioners that like, I mean, look, there's some that are very successful in their careers and, some that own dojos. Like when I've spoken with other dojo owners, like what they do, but it's like, when I spoke with Xian Hugo Perez, he was telling me, like, I asked him, like, what is the number one advice you can give to someone who can, when they're doing this business, like to open their dojo or any business venture? And he's like, and the best thing he said is start small and reinvest the money into it, like, because it grows more.
Absolutely. I 100% agree.
That's awesome. And so you're doing that. And were you also kind of like using this money too to help, if you don't mind me asking, like help pay for the school, like you're schooling with McGill? Because McGill, let's be honest, it's pretty expensive. McGill.
It is. It's expensive. I'm not gonna lie, it's expensive. But so my parents helped me pay through college, but my parents said if you go to university, you gotta pay it. I said, okay. So I just started investing, and I was able to, and now I'm able to pay for it. So like I can't complain.
That's amazing. And like, and that's crazy that you're able to do it. Like, it's amazing because everyone's like wants to find ways, because we are in like a student loan crisis. As to say, well, listen, we're not the US, but we get the news from the US, and then and then we think, oh my God, it's bad here. It's not as bad as here, but still, student loans are student loans. It's debt. So now that you're able to afford schooling, let's say if there's someone young that's listening to this, that's starting college or university, what is some advice you could give them so they don't end up in that cycle of debt where they have shackles of owing money, owing to others? What advice could you say to them? To
definitely, I think just play smart with your money. Don't go out clubbing every weekend, spending $500 at the club, when that $500 you could put maybe half of it aside and invest it either in a stock, a bond, a share, or even invest it in shoes or something. Find something that you're passionate about. I was passionate about sneakers and I invested in sneakers. If you're passionate about business, let's say, Montreal winters are brutal. Go door to door with a mask on, obviously, and shovel people's driveways. Like there's so many ways to make money. Just think of it, find something that you're passionate about, and just the money's gonna talk for you.
Exactly. You know, it's it builds character. I mean, but you know, people, the thing is now, I think the thing is like a lot of people, like I think is they, because of like what the CERB has created, it has created this sort of like, we don't really want to work because it's free money. But at the end of the day, it's like, I mean, look, it has its uses. But for me, like I could tell you're a go-getter, I'm a go-getter. Mo is definitely a go-getter with a capital G. Like, you know, yeah, we're putting the work in every day. Like, you know, we try to do our best, and you got to find ways to save, you know, even if it's like one job, you know, look at the financial programs like your job offers. Like, for example, I work for a major company. They have like shares, they have a pension, and they have coaching on finances. So that way, like you're living within a budget. So that's something too, everyone can do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And like we live in an era where social media is such a huge thing. So like you could go on YouTube, learn a new hobby, learn a new trick. There's so many ways to make money, I feel, in nowadays. So like go for it. Go get a job. Go find this. Go find that. Like there's so many open doors.
For example, I'm learning coding because I want a computer every time. So, I mean, so when I get good, the goal is to eventually, you know, maybe is to monetize it and, you know, see what I can do with it. So that is my goal. While, you know, because like I have a degree in history, but let's be honest, I'm not using it. So, but I use my degree in history to make a podcast. So thanks, mom and dad and grandma. Look what happened. Look like look, I made myself kind of famous. So yeah, but it's not about me, the show. It's about the guest. So now let me ask you about, you know, because you've seen Julie, you've worked with her. What's it like working with Sensei Julie now, since she's taken over pretty much?
I'm gonna say a huge statement right now, live on the podcast. And through my eyes, Julie Lamarre is the greatest Kyokushin fighter of all time. In my eyes, her work. I've seen her since I was a kid, so 2005 to 2021. In my eyes, she's a goat. She work ethic. She's the most humble champion I've ever seen in the world. Most humbling champion I've ever seen in the world. I'm impeccable. I mean, lost of words. She's the best. In my eyes, she's the best. She's the best. There's nothing wrong with you guys. She's the best.
I agree. I mean, listen, I've watched her fights. You know, when I watch Julie Lamarre, and you know, some people say you can't compare MMA fighters to Kyokushin. That's BS, because you can use the striking. So, for example, like when I watch, like here's how I look at Julie. When I watch her fights, I think Julie fights like a Valentina Shevchenko. So technical, so precise, and
so fast.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, and she's like, I mean, yeah, like I mean. I'm telling you, I mean, if you're under the former IKO, I mean, you got that Navy SEAL training. And that's the thing, like because whenever anyone leaves IKO 1 and they go into other organizations, they're very sought after for a reason, because of what they got in IKO. It's like a Navy SEAL or like a CIA operative, or I don't know. Like I love a lot of military history, so that's why I use those analogies too. That's one thing with me. I love using analogies. But yeah, like, I mean, I've seen her fights on YouTube, if there, and I agree with you, Julie, and I really think she is up there. I think when it comes to North American Kyokushin for this generation, I mean, I'm gonna make a statement too. I think the number 1-2 pound for pound of this generation, of like, you know, if you're born in like, let's say 1990 to 1995, when were you born? 95?
2000. I'm a baby. I'm only 21.
Gen X, Kev. Okay, or whatever. 2000. I mean, because you were coming up. I think if you were born in that period, I think it's easy to say like that. Mo and Julie Lamarre are pound for pound among like the best of the best. I mean, there's others too, but just from what I've seen, I mean, I'm sure I'll find out more. Like after this, people are I'm gonna get messages from like some of my supporters, be like, hey, you know, there's this guy too. Okay, listen, guys, everyone's good. Okay, like I mean, I'm sure there's amazing people, but you have to understand these two accomplished so much together. Like
yes, and if we look at it, they were both under the Lamarre Dojo. So from 2005 to 2010, even 2014, they were running this shit. They came, they saw, they conquered everything. And like there was others, Miriam, Kim, like I said, the Paz Bucino,
Natalie,
Victor Pove, Tarek, who's now kickboxing, I think professionally in Japan.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, he was on my show too. I love
shout
out to Tarek B.
Yeah, if you still remember me, Tarek, I was a little kid in the corner. I don't know if you still remember me, but I grew up a bit.
I love it, man. I really love, like, I am thankful that, like, now I can know, like, I can meet these people, not only because of Mo, like, Mo deserves so much credit because some people, like, feel like, well, you know, you get to meet them because you're friends with them. Listen, I mean, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be getting half my guests on. Like, I'm going to be honest with you, okay? Like, I'm going to tell this story, okay? So when I was at my first school, okay?
Yeah.
No one knew who I was. I was an unknown at the tournament, okay? But the next tournament I did, it was in May 2019. It was and I fought Shinku Dojo under Vincent Michaud, Mark Ponabo. Yeah, I fought Vincent Michaud's guy, Mathieu Guino, and so people saw him with Mo, and they gave me that gold standard treatment. They're like, who are you with? Je suis avec Mohamed. Oh, okay, no problem, pas problem. Okay, c'est bon. Like, it's like they give you, like, they really take care of you. Like, they see you with Mo. Like, Mo's like, oh, this is my friend and student, Andrew. Oh, it's nice to meet you. You have a great teacher, this and that. It's like they pay attention. Then after the fight, everyone was like, you know, we want to get a photo. Hey, you're Mo's student. Hey, let's get a photo with you. And I'm like, my leg is chopped up. I want to sit on a chair. Because like my leg is like that, like the adrenaline dump is happening, and it's like, but I loved it, man. Like I love it, and you know, like as I said, you know, like I wouldn't be where I am in Kyokushin if it wasn't for him, and yeah, like
sure.
I had like he was you guys swept tournaments, so I just want to bring it back to you guys. Like I remember hearing stories at my old school when people found out that I started becoming friends with Mo. They said, "I'm a chick of Lamarre." Like they were shocked.
Yeah, and even if we look at it, I know Canada's big, but Lamarre sent soldiers to Europe, sent soldiers to Kazakhstan with Samira Yazid. They sent soldiers, and these, like I said, they came, they saw, and they conquered. And it's crazy to be a part of that now. It really, I find it's impeccable. It's crazy, like how, like usually like top schools they stay on top for like 1 or 2 years, but like I said, the run that Mohamed and Julie had. And still have going on. It's insane. It's crazy. It's a gold level shit.
It really is. Like they were the best of the best, and I am very, very, and I'm very, very, very fortunate, and like that I know them and I continue to meet them. Like I remember, like out of all of Mohammed's friends that I met, I love them all. Like I love y'all. Like shout out to Faisal, Amin, Igor, Justin. But the one first friend, like, you know what, I got to be honest, like the first friend that I met was Natalie, and Natalie is like she says, I said, you know, she's an amazing human being with what she does, you know, because I'm very open with it now, whereas before I wasn't, because, you know, she teaches special needs, but, you know, since me being on the spectrum mildly, like she's so supportive of it, and, you know, she's always like there for me, like she's always there to speak to if like I have a question or if I need to just speak to her. So I'm very appreciative that, like, you know, that like I'm like that I know those people because they're good people, and it wouldn't, if it wasn't for Kyokushin, I probably would be I don't want to sound extreme, but I'd probably be in a very bad place, to be honest with you.
No, it's true. And like I said, like Kyokushin, it trains not only your body, but it trains your mind as well. And like I said, it makes you become a better person, not only in the dojo, but outside the dojo as well.
That's true. Now, when it comes to MMA, I mean, I'm sure you're an MMA fan and all that. We all are. You know, I had to bring this in. So tell me, Julian, how excited are you for the upcoming 2 cards? I mean, well, let's be honest. The one next week, it's kind of, It's great. It's good.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. But I'm excited for that 268 card, that Usman Covington 2 card.
Yes. And I mean, Usman is just a different breed, man. He is crazy. He makes regular people seem ordinary. Like, it's insane. Like, wow. I don't know, man. It's going to be a tough card to pick for sure. I don't know.
I agree, because Colby Covington is also among the best welterweights too. He's got that Nick Diaz pace where he just keeps coming and coming. He doesn't have knockout power, but he's got that pace that just keeps like stinging you with all those punches, and it gets annoying. It's like you're like and you don't.
Yes, I know, because he talks so much shit, and then like you're like, but you can back it up. That's the one thing I gotta give it to, man. Colby Covington is tough, and like I said, what he did to Lawler. I was like jaw dropped. What he did to Woodley, and like I said, he brought it to Usman. Like if you look at it, Usman's toughest fights was Colby Covington all the way. Mm-hmm. He dismantled Masvidal. He dismantled
Gilbert Burns.
Gilbert Burns, yeah. And I'm like, damn. And Usman also dismantled primetime Woodley.
Yeah.
Like when Woodley went on his stretch, Usman cut it off, and I'm like, damn, son. Yeah, man. Yeah.
It's two of the best, you know. That's what I love about. That's the thing with MMA. Like when for example, like, I mean, there's always like, especially with Khabib and Conor, it's like you're either team Khabib or team Conor. But with these two, Covington and Usman, you can't be on either team. You have to like them both. Like there's an exception there, but it's like you have to like both. Like you really, really have to like understand like what they've done for the sport. Like they've made welterweight fun to watch. Like I'm being serious. Like I don't give a shit about light heavyweight since John Jones left. Like I'm sorry to break it to you, but like sorry to break it to y'all, but I don't care about 205. I don't care if John Jones is not fighting in 205. I don't care. For me, it's from 125 to 185. I watch. That's it.
Yeah. Damn. Well, for me, ever since DC retired, I'm like, damn, my heart was broken because DC was like, I don't know. DC was the man. I know we got John Jones, but DC was the man. Let me ask you a question. Who's in your top 5 MMA fighters of all time?
If I had a Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, Mount Rushmore.
Okay. I'm gonna say this. Royce Gracie, because he's the one that started it.
Yeah.
I would say Chuck Liddell to put it in the mainstream because he played an integral role to put it in the mainstream as the first big star.
It's tough, I know.
George, because of how he helped elevate the sport in Canada. And so there's those 3.
Yeah,
so far. Yeah, so there's 2 more. There's how many?
Because Rushmore is what, 4 or 5?
I think it's 5.
Okay, so you already got 3. Missing 2 more.
John Jones, because of the longevity. That's the long.
Even if he tested positive,
it came back negative. It came back that he came back. I mean, not negative, but I mean, it came back that it was like a picogram. So that's the thing. But it's just like, listen, it's the John Jones from Shogun to DC one. After that, it's kind of like. That's how I look at it as, okay?
Okay.
That's where, and the 5th one I'd say is Khabib. I mean, what can you say? I mean,
I don't know.
Why? Who's it for you?
I want to put Khabib, but I don't know. I don't know.
I would have put Conor if he didn't go on this. I would only have put him if he retired after the Floyd fight and said, you know what? I'm done. I did it. Then I would have said, okay, because he helped transcend the sport for everybody.
But absolutely.
I have to say, as I said, it's going to be Royce, Chuck, George, John, and Khabib. Those are my 5 Mount Rushmore.
That's a good 5. That's a very good 5.
Yeah.
That's a good 5.
I could have put Tito, but Tito's career did not age at all.
No. Did you see Anderson Silva versus Tito Ortiz in the boxing?
The highlight. I have a hard time watching these like legends.
I know.
It's like, he's like, you need to enjoy life after. Like, why are you doing this shit? Like, why? Yes. Like, it's not worth it.
Absolutely, I know. I was like, damn. Once I saw him, like, damn. I don't know, man.
But I like Anderson. Anderson's had like a renaissance in boxing, which is nice to see.
Yeah, and I'm happy to see Anderson win. Because, like, his last few UFC fights, I was like, damn, Anderson, I need you to finish on top, baby. Please. Because Anderson, like, wow, man. I feel like he transcends MMA striking in any sense of the way. He did everything, whether it's feints, finding angles. He was from zero to hero, and like it was insane watching him fight.
It really was. No, like it really, really was. Like it was something special. Like that. We were lucky to have Anderson and George in the same era, and they both left kind of at the same time, because I always say like the golden era for MMA was from 2005 to 2013, and then 2014 it kind of was like kind of like up and down because they didn't have that big star. Like Conor wasn't there. I mean,
Rousey Conor. Yeah.
No, 2014 Rousey was only coming up because no one liked her. I think 2015 was like that really big boom period because like Conor, Rousey. It was 2015 to 2016 was like a nice little like comeback, but then after that it was kind of like on status quo.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
What's your thoughts on Izzy as a striker? I mean, I know every time I ask someone who does martial arts this, it's very divided about Izzy. I don't know why, but I want to get your thoughts.
I love his striking, man. His kicks, his question mark kick is beautiful. I could literally stay in my bed and watch Instagram videos and Facebook videos of just him striking. And like even if you look at him, even in Kyokushin, when we chopped that leg, look at what you did to Paulo Costa. Like, I don't know if you guys saw that leg, but that was Mawashigiri, Gedan, all the way. Cutting the tree, bang, finding angles, bang, and like, wow. And his kicks are beautiful. Like, and his feint and his footwork, and it's crazy.
He changed Costa's career. I mean, Costa's never been the same since. I mean, look, he fights tomorrow, but there's been weight issues.
Yeah.
No, they bumped up to 205 as of today.
Oh my God. I don't know. But yeah, Izzy's the best. Izzy's the best. He's so cool. I find him so cool. And like, one thing that I appreciate about him so much is how he handled his loss to Jan. And he's like, man, it's normal, man. It's life. And I was like, damn, man. Like, chapeau à toi. Good for you. Like that's my thing. When champions can handle losing like that, not even just losing period, and like losing when you win with class, you lose with class. Like, that's something that I find so inspiring.
Same here. I agree. And now we have Alexander Pereira, the guy that knocked him out in kickboxing, coming. I mean, Glover Teixeira is saying like, oh, you know, Izzy's not calling him out because Izzy's running scared. Let's see. Listen, here's the thing I have with kickboxers coming into MMA. It's easy to have those 14 ounce and 16 ounce gloves. Now you're going down to 4 ounce. So let's see how he really does. I'm going to say this. If Alexander Pereira it goes like 1 and 2, I don't think he'll ever be a top 10 or 5. But if he goes like, let's say 2 and 1, I'll give him a shot that he has a shot at this maybe from top number 6 to 10. But to make that move at 34 from kickboxing to MMA,
he needs to go on a run. He needs to go on a massive run. He's got to make a name for himself soon and fast. Yeah.
And I think the only one that can really beat Izzy, I mean, there's 2 people I think that can beat Izzy. One is Whitaker, because I think Whitaker, if it depends which Whitaker shows up. Another one, which Mo would agree with me on, and I'll tell you why. Like, I'm agreeing with him on this now, because at first I was like, you whack. But then I said, like, okay, now it makes sense. So it was Luke Rockhold, because if Luke Rockhold has a chin, okay? Like if his chin is okay, and if he doesn't get in the pocket, his ground game is very dangerous. That's the thing.
Nah. Did you see how Luke Rockhold fought against Jan when he got knocked out? Chin out, everything? I was like, what?
But that loss doesn't look as bad now, considering that Jan is the champion. And think of it too, he fought a Romero that missed weight. That's the thing too. So,
but I don't know. Izzy's the shit right now. Izzy's
I think so.
Yeah. I don't see anyone beating him right now. Right now, I don't see anyone beating him.
You know what? I'm going to throw in a third person, but he's in Bellator, and it'll never happen. Gegard Mousasi. That's the only one.
That would never happen. That would be an amazing fight. And like, that would be sick, man. Because I remember Gegard Mousasi wasn't getting his respect in the UFC.
No.
Then he said, fuck that. I'm out. Went to Bellator and like, look at him now.
He's the champion. But like, it'll never happen because of cross promos. Oh yeah, that's someone who I would compare Mo to, because like people are like, who do you compare Mo's fighting style to? Gegard Mousasi. If anyone wants to watch Gegard, understand, very basic, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, but effective and precise. Julia's technical. Mo is also technical, but Mo is more power like Gegard. But it's like you don't expect it.
No, very. I can see it now. Now that you say it, I can see the resemblance.
Yeah, and they talk alike and they look alike too. Like I sent it to some shout because like I'm friends with Nima, like Gegard's and I had him on my show. Shout out to Nima and Gegard. I'm a Musasi fan till the day I die, even after he retires. So yeah, but yeah, like that's what it is. And yeah, so what do you hope that now when it comes to what do you hope to accomplish with the project now that it's in full swing, you're getting more coverage? What's next for you?
Yeah, what's next? For those who don't know, I just did a sneaker drive for James Link High School in St. Henry, and that's done. I would like to do a French school, une école primaire en français. We're in Quebec, so I think that I was able to get the coverage in English. Now I think to take my project to the next level, il faut que je fais la même chose avec le couvrage en français. So I have to do the same thing with a French school. I'm hoping to start a nonprofit by the end of 2022.
Nice.
Right now, like juggling school training and this it's impossible for me to open it. But hopefully, if I can open my nonprofit organization by 2022, I don't know. Hopefully, I don't know. There's still so many stuff to do in the work, but that's the goal. The goal 2022, start my nonprofit and take it to the moon.
Awesome. That's amazing, man. I'm really, really happy that you're doing this. I mean, I'm going to support as much as I can. So the minute you start posting stuff, I'm going to make sure to share it on Facebook, Instagram. Like, listen, man, at the end of the day, I got to support my Kyokushin family, especially. I got to give a lot of thanks to the Lamarre Dojo too, because I'm not going to lie. You know what? They took in, as I said, they've changed the lives of a lot of people. If it wasn't for Sensei Julie, if it wasn't for Shia and Sylvie and Shia and Reynald, I don't think I'd be friends with Mo, like to a degree. Like it was, and also, but you know what? Also, my friend Matt from Firefit, he's the one that connected me. And so I'll tell you how I met Mo. Okay, so I'm gonna say the story every time now, so people ask, "How did you meet Mo?" But I'll just say it here. So I love saying it. So I'm at my first school. I become a blue belt. I'm serious about competing. I was losing a lot of weight. Well, right now, like I basically am like a light heavyweight, like I'm 220 about, but I'm going to lose it. I'm going to get back down to 185, 195 by end of December. But this time, like I'm at 190. So my friend, Matt, who runs Firefit, it's a gym that we're like that for fitness. So Matt, who I used to play hockey with, cause before martial arts, I used to play ball hockey, like in the league. Matt says to me, I have a friend that I know someone that might be able to help you with what you're doing in martial arts. It's like, okay, what's his name? Look up Momo Kyoku on Instagram. Say you know me. So I message Mo, and Mo's like, you know how Mo is. Like, if he doesn't know you, he's gonna be like, he was polite, but he'll be very reserved. I'm like, hey, how are you? I'm like, my name's Andrew. We have a mutual friend in Matt from Firefit. Can you I just want to let you know, like, I see your stuff. Do you think you can train me for a bit? And he's like, are you with anyone? I told him who I'm with. He's like, you're doing that tournament at he was in the East End. It was the Big Shin tournament in 2018.
Was it Stéphane Marcotte?
No, that was 2019. 2018 was at it was the first Big Shin Kyokushin tournament. I finished third place. So Mo was like, it was at Pierre Charbonneau Arena. It was at Pierre Charbonneau. Okay, I think it was. No, that's Gold Cup. It wasn't Degeki. It wasn't Degeki. And you know them all, but it's like I'm trying to think. It's like I don't know, but I know which ones you're talking about though. But what happened was, so Mo was like, listen, he's like, send me the video of when you're done fighting, and I'll let me see what I can do to help you. So I was with then an MMA striking coach that did Muay Thai. He didn't know much about Kyokushin, but he knew just a bit. So I sent the video to Mo, and Mo was like, I think I can help you. And the rest is history. So then, I had to, it was tough for me to say bye to that coach because his name was David Moon. Amazing guy, though. But David gave his blessing. He's like, listen, he's like, I think this is better for you because this is he has your base. Yeah. I don't have that. He does. He's like, so listen, he's like, go to him and he's going to help you for this stuff in the future. And the rest is history. So since July 2018, I've been I'm basically, I guess you could say I'm the third family member I'm the fourth family member or the fifth. I don't know how many. Mo's got a brother and a sister. I'm basically the adopted I'm basically the adopted Jewish brother of Mo, and Mo is like my mom considers Mo her adopted son to a degree. So yeah, I mean we're inseparable. We're inseparable. He drives me crazy. I want to kill him half the time whenever he busts my chops, but it's all in fun and games. Like I love him. Like I wouldn't be where I am without him today.
No, he's a good guy.
And yeah, man, it's crazy. So I guess we'll end it here on a positive note. Julian, I want to thank you so much for doing this. You have my support. Please share. The more you share, I'll make sure to share it as much as I can. And where can people connect with you if they want to know what to do?
You can hit me up on my Instagram at littlemulatokid. So LITTLEMULATOKID. I don't know if you could put like a little thing here. I don't know. If so, it's gonna be there. On my Facebook, Julin Grau-Brown. And if not, come to Lamarre Dojo. I'll be there.
Perfect. Thanks so much for doing this, man. You have yourself an awesome day. Keep doing amazing. Guys, make sure to like, share, subscribe to Julian and his stuff. We got to grow the community because martial arts are the backbone, but also he's a social entrepreneur, an entrepreneur for good. So please make sure to take a look what he does. And if anyone wants to support, the more support, the better. We're helping less fortunate.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.